What's up guys, this is Chad from All Dogs Off-Road, and today we are going to be doing an install video for you. Maybe a little how-to-ish, we'll see how loose we go with this. But what we have here is a Sherpa capital roof rack that we're going to be putting on this 2025 Toyota 4Runner SR5. Now, I'm not super big on roof racks, but going to an SUV here, I do need a bit more room. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I have a 23-0 swag tent that I'm using now, and that tent is probably, it's hard to give you the lengths, but it's probably about this tall if you stack it from end to end, and about this big here. Now, I can run that on the inside of the 4Runner, but that takes up a ton of space, and so when we get to the point of our travel season where we're going to be going to overland expos and trade shows and that sort of thing, that's going to take up, essentially it would take up all the room where my camping gear and my fridge and so on would go. And so for as big as it is, I need somewhere outside the 4Runner to install it, and this roof rack is going to be the perfect way to do that, and then also allow me to maybe store some recovery gear or some other stuff up top as well when I need to. We are big fans of Sherpa. All this stuff is made in the USA. They're out of Berthoud, Colorado. We've been there a number of times for their Overland Expo after parties, which are very fun. They're a very cool group of guys and girls, and they have their own racing team. They do Ultra 4 and some other stuff too. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, go jump on their YouTube channel and follow them. We really like being able to support, you know, other small mom and pop shop and companies, and that's exactly what Sherpa is. This is all aluminum, and behind Michael is a plethora of fasteners, so this is going to be a lot of fun putting together, but we think we can do it. We're going to start by taking the factory roof rack rails off, and then I believe the instructions indicate that we set up a couple of the crossbars using the mounts here, get them in place, and then we kind of bring everything together. There's another YouTube video online where I believe where a guy put everything together as one and then set it on top of the vehicle. We're going to do a little bit different than that. That's all the gabbing I got right now, so let's get to work. So these plastic covers are pretty stubborn, but what you need to do is pry using a plastic pry tool, and then you should be able to pop it up and then lift out. You'll see it's got two little nubs right here that kind of hold it in place, and it's just got four little plastic tabs, and it's kind of a struggle to get it off. Will probably be the same for the other three as well, but once those are all off, then just removing your roof rails will just be 12mm bolts at each of the things, which Kyle called out because he's really good. Jiminy Christmas. That's my old boss Tony used to say. All right, caps are off. We're gonna buzz these off with our baby impact. That's not our baby impact. There we go. All right, so we're starting with the rear bracket first, and that's going to be the very rearward mounting point for the rack on the vehicle. And we've kind of set up this side as a dummy here. Your brackets are going to actually angle back. So when we go to install on the vehicle, it's going to install this way here, so your angle is going to be back toward the trunk or the rear hatch. Yep. But it's going to just be two of these. They're probably like 3/4 inch bolts, two of these little inserts, and then two of the chrome washers. And you don't want to do this very tight because you're going to have to make adjustments and shift things side to side. But that's our back bracket. We'll be doing the middle bracket next. And then we'll do the front bracket. The front bracket's interesting because it actually doesn't mount anywhere on the vehicle. It's going to rest, it looks like, in the channel here. Just something interesting, but we'll get to that point here in a minute. Did you call me, Kyle?
Did you screen yet?
I've saved it.
I'm trying to break your new phone.
I got the...
Alright, so we got our rear bracket and our mid bracket both kind of loosely mounted in place. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put together these rubber isolator pads. Kyle's already done 3 of them, but they're just little metal sleeves here that are going to go in these rubber blocks that the brackets are going to mount to, and I assume that's for like vibration damping to the chassis, which is a great idea. But we're going to take these, then our racks that we prepared, and then bolts and washers, and we're going to start mounting these in place and then getting them somewhat adjusted. So here, this is what your finished part's going to look like. Your bracket, rubber isolators, sleeves. There will be some bigger bolts they're going to run through right here, and then these bigger bolts, there's some supplied blue Loctite that you're going to want to use. That's just to prevent the bolts from loosening over time, so that you always have a secure attachment. So I was just mentioning the long bolt. The long bolt's going to come with a little foam-backed washer that's pretty concave. And what you're going to do is this is going to run through all the way down, and then you're going to, when you're ready to mount, you're going to put a little blue Loctite on. This is going to come through here, and then you're going to snug this down until that concave washer flattens out. You don't want to like totally ream it. It's like a spring washer, so it's going to put a little bit of clamping force down, but you don't want to fully collapse it, is what the instructions appear to be saying. Let's get to it. Oh, that's to clear the shark fin. That's why they do it this way. Think so?
It's going to.
Okay. Okay. Do it up. There we go. Can't squeeze with my left hand. There we go. So we got everything loosely in place. Now our bracket here needs to slide that way a little bit, and we'll get everything centered up here shortly. But we're going to push Michael out of the way here in a second and do the middle brace. So the reason that you want to have the angled end forward and then they have your sloping end is that's intended to clear your shark fin, because otherwise if you install it the other way, you'd be sitting right on top of the shark fin and having a bunch of problems. So this is directional. You want to make sure that you have it installed correctly.
Let's make it easier for the end user.
So the reason that it's important to bring your concaves down, and the reason that you want to use these foam-backed washers here, is that's actually what creates a watertight seal for the roof rack. So these rubber blocks with the compression here, and then these washers with the foam on them, all that tightens up, and that's what creates a watertight seal so that you don't get any leaking inside the cabin. So you do want to be specific in the washers that you use in certain locations. Now Sherpa, I believe there's only 8 of the foam backed washers, so it should be pretty evident that that's where these go. But just in case you open up that hardware pack, which is full of tons of nuts and bolts and stuff, you just want to make sure that you're using the foam backed ones here in the right orientation where it's foamed down, so that you're sealing everything off from the water and stuff. Kyle told me to tell you that we are going to be putting the side panel on now, and it's going to be 4mm hex to get everything mounted. So he's going to walk in here with it in just a second and beam Michael in the head, and then we're going to get it set in place. So we've got our two supporting brackets mounted in place and tightened down. We use a tape measure to measure from the bracket to the outer rails or sides of the roof rack to get everything kind of lined up into place. So now we're gonna work on our front supports here. We're gonna put these together, and then we'll probably start adding the remainder of the extrusions into place, and then it should be done. Aside from a million nuts and bolts and hardware, it's actually not that difficult. Kyle and I are banging it out pretty quick here. I'm really happy with it so far, and the fitment is fantastic. It looks like it's got about maybe about a 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch of gap kind of running along the entire upper portion here. Very solid. Like, we only have the two, and it's already very solid. One of the things that the Sherpa guys do in their promos is they'll take a Mazda Miata and then they set it on the top of one of their racks. Maybe we'll have to see if we can find one to throw up there. Anyways, we're getting there. These two supports here, they are gonna install like so, and they use what are called carriage head bolts. No hex or Phillips head or anything on them, and then they've got two little square cutouts, so they slot in like so, along with a couple washers. If you're really from the Midwest, you call them washers, with lock nuts. And then you'll do the same, you'll snug those up and then do the same for the other side here. And then you just want those loose so that you can adjust them when you install them into place. I think that's common courtesy. So we've got those front free moving supports in place. We put a little bit of tension on them so that they kind of are stable. The next thing we're going to do is add the front fairing, which is just going to be a crossbar, and then the fairing is going to bolt to the crossbar, and then we'll finish out the remainder. So what you want to do is lay this out on the table, line up where your inserts need to be, and get them in place so that when you can take this and transfer it over and be pretty close. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get everything lined up. But and one pro tip Kyle had was that if you're a little off, like these two are, just use a pick, and then you may be able to slide them over. All right, an angle, Kyle. Okay. That's kind of heavy.
Friday at 5.
So we have one last crossbar to do on the back here, and then we've got a nice little laser cut Sherpa logo that we're going to put on the side here. And then we're pretty much done. There's a couple more bars that we'll just insert into the middle, but we'll do that off camera just because this is super basic. But overall, this is a super easy install, and I mean the cutting, the fitment, and everything is spot on. Like, we've done roof racks where, you know, things bend and don't line up in place, and this has been about a perfect fit all the way through. So we're real happy with that. Easy to do as well. So we'll get her finished up and we'll show you some end photos here in a minute. Well, guys, this was definitely just a one beer job. It was super easy. I think I said that probably 10 times in this video already. We got all the crossbars up. Everything is snugged, mounted, tight. It's super solid. Like, I'm really happy with it, and it'll definitely be overkill for whatever, you know, weight I'm ever gonna put up there. I think the 23.0 swag tent I have is maybe 20-30 pounds. I don't know, maybe put a solar panel up there for my Dometic fridge or something. Really impressed. I mean, we've had bad experiences with roof racks, we've had good experiences with others. The Sherpa one is fantastic. That's it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff if you haven't already. We'll be doing more videos in the near future. I think Kyle just did one with a roof rack on his Tacoma. This one's done. We actually have a 3.8 liter short block that we've been sitting on for a while that I've been meaning to do like a tear down and walkthrough video with for you guys. So that'll be a lot of fun. But other than that, we'll just keep throwing videos at you. And like I said, more Nissan content will be coming, guys, I promise.